After the fall of ISIS, a large part of Syria began to form a government based on democracy, women's rights, and religious freedom. It's called the Democratic Autonomous Administration. I talked with Nadine Maenza, the chair of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, while she was visiting the region, about this remarkable land in the heart of the Middle East. You're there in Northeast Syria. Tell us about this story that's going on there that many people in the U.S. May not know or understand why it's so important.
So 5 years ago, the ISIS caliphate ruled this part of Syria. And, the Syrian Democratic Forces partnered with the U.S. government, and they liberated these areas from ISIS. And as they liberated areas from ISIS, what people don't know is that they were also setting up the people of this region self-governance called the Autonomous Administration of North and East Syria that has produced now this government that gives everyone a seat at the table, regardless of ethnicity, religion, or gender. So you have 50% of the leaders women. You have Christians, Yazidis, Turkmen, Circassians, all sorts of ethnicities and religions participating. And it's produced what USURF has called out as being these remarkable religious freedom conditions and gender equality that is just unseen anywhere else in the Middle East.
Yeah, so this is a unique situation, something we don't see in the region.
Here, we have churches of converts from Islam to Christianity, and it's just not seen anywhere else. So it's really exciting to see freedom of religion or belief lived out. And of course, people that don't want to believe at all, because as we know, you have to have both, right? You have to be able to believe or not to believe. Mm-hmm. And this is a place where you can do either, and they all work together and are really working hard towards a more pluralistic community.
But this area is also under threat. You put a tweet on the other day about a Turkish attack. Can you describe what threats they're facing right now, particularly from Turkey?
So Turkey has decided all these people are terrorists, and has invaded 3 times now and has taken quite a bit of land up north, including a friend, Tel Abyad, Sarakani. And in these areas that Turkey has invaded and governs, USURF is called out because the conditions are very similar to how they were under the ISIS caliphate. We're seeing rapes, murders, killings, kidnappings, extortion, destruction of religious sites, particularly against Christians, Yazidis, and Kurds and women in those communities. So there's these horrific atrocities against religious minorities happening that used to have religious freedom. And so Turkey continues to shell. And when the day I got here, it was such a disappointment to find out that Turkey had actually used a drone to target civilians, killing one, injuring 11, including a 4-year-old boy who lost his leg. So these are the kind of things the people of Northeast Syria are putting up with from Turkey, and the international community, the U.S. government, and needs to push them back to stop.
Yeah, what exactly would you like to see the U.S. government and the international community do in response to these attacks?
Well, clearly, I think the U.S. has a whole lot of levers they can use with Turkey economically, diplomatically, to push them back. And I think they have, because I know that Turkey wanted to invade again. In fact, they said they were going to invade again, and they haven't. So I know the U.S. government doesn't want to see that happen. I do hope that as we're speaking, that there is some diplomatic action happening or some threats of economic sanctions to push Turkey, who's a NATO ally, should not be acting this way against civilians.
Would you like to see the U.S. Recognize the administration there?
Absolutely. In fact, at the U.S. Commission, we've made some really powerful recommendations, and we're very single focused on religious freedom. We don't pick winners and losers because we like them. I supported the Autonomous Administration before I even visited. So, and obviously since I've come here and gotten to know them, I like them even more, and I'm more impressed by their commitment to tolerance and building interfaith relationships. But our recommendations are to give recognition to the Autonomous Administration as a local legitimate government.
And how can people pray for what's going on there?
Well, people can pray that first of all, that the Christians and religious minorities here would have the strength to endure, the continued struggles and persecutions they have. Pray for leadership here to be able to have wisdom, and for the U.S. government to be able to make the kind of hard choices. Earlier this week, they also had an interfaith conference here where they brought together all the interfaith leaders. And it was just the most amazing thing to talk about, have all these imams get up and talk about, religious tolerance and about how Christians and Yazidis should be able to live together. And that is, what they want here. So just pray that continues, because that's the best way to fight the ideology that ISIS is pushing here. And the economy, though, is it's a threat because, as we know, no matter how much you support a government, if you can't feed your family, it puts a lot of pressure on communities. So pray that this lightens the load so that the religious minorities that have been here since the beginning of Christianity are able to stay.
Alpha,